Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're all right. Now, in our last video, we saw the 5 components that collectively make up the marketing plan, namely the objective, market research, marketing strategy, marketing tactics, and lastly, evaluation. Now, in this video, we're going to combine that information and see from a business's perspective how they go about actually making a marketing plan. And we're going to follow exactly those 5 steps in that order and try to answer it for our friend here, a bicycle shop owner. Let's call him Mike Legstrong, right? You'd think that somebody who's a cyclist would have a name Legstrong rather than Armstrong, but I guess you need both scales. But anyways, so Mike, our friend here, owns a bicycle shop. He sells bicycles, accessories, repair parts. So a full bicycle solution is what Mr. Mike is presenting. Now, the thing about Mike's business is that they are fairly competitively priced and they also provide good services. So people like Mike, and that's why he's seen progress, he's seen growth previously in his business. During that time of progress, Mr. Mike would have seen that competition's also increased. So more and more bicycle shops have opened up. So he now wants to do something different, make sure that he's ready to respond to that change. And in order to achieve that, he wants to come up with a new marketing plan. And that's what we're going to learn here today. And it starts with first assigning the marketing department their objective. So when Mr. Mike sits down and thinks about what he wants his marketing plan to achieve, he will list down a few things. And among those things would be, of course, first of all, the objective of the business. And for Mr. Mike, let's say, for example, that objective is to expand his bicycle shop. Maybe look to increase his sales by 12% annually for the next 2 years. Now, the thing about this sentence here is that this is an objective and it fully meets the SMART criteria. It is specific, it's measurable, achievable, realistic, time barred, of course. So it needs to be a SMART objective for the marketing department to be able to achieve it. Now, part of his plan going forward is to improve customer diversity. So maybe not just cycle enthusiasts, maybe everyday riders, maybe visitors, tourists. He wants to expand the customer base that he has, and all the while making sure that he's still able to maintain his profitability. So at the first stage for any business, just like for Mike here, you will have to list down what it is exactly that you expect to achieve from your plan. And as you remember, it is at this stage that they also assign a budget. So he will have to look at his marketing people, maybe assign a budget for the marketing efforts, and that is something that will be a restriction in terms of the amount of research that you can conduct and the way that you're going to execute your tactics. Now, as soon as a business figures out its objective, then they set about conducting market research, which was the second stage of a marketing plan. So let's look at that now. So the second stage, which is about conducting market research, when Mr. Mike goes ahead and finds out what's happening out there, there are a few things that he found out were actually working in his favor. First of those was that the government of that country has decided to spend on tourist hotspots. So maybe more attractions for the visitors, business or leisure, and that's something that he could target. Maybe visitors want to go about the city and they could go do so on a bicycle. So that's an opportunity that he only found out once he conducted research of the market. So you identify things that are impacting you and that are happening around you at this stage. Additionally, he also figured out that there are no other businesses that sell bicycle but also offer city tours. Now that's your aha moment where you figure as Mike that you already have bicycles. Why not launch a bicycle tour service with it? Additionally, when he went about his market research, he may have also found out that there are increased numbers of tourists and visitors that are coming to your city. So that's another sign that this idea of a city tour, especially being offered to tourists, is something that it could offer him more profitability. And he already has a lot of bicycles to spare. If you already have one of the main ingredients of this service, which is bicycles, then all you got to do is put together a plan, target these tourists and visitors, and maybe offer a service of city tours. So again, you look at everything that's around you and see what the situation is like. If the moment is just right for you to go ahead with your expansion plan, and then expansion plan will be explained at the marketing strategy stage, and that is third on our list. Now, at this stage, the third one, where you come up with your marketing strategy, you're trying to come up with a plan that you will stick with for a long period of time. This is something that you, of course, after conducting market research, you will have confidence that at least this is something that will stay stagnant for the foreseeable future. And after looking at the research that we have just looked at, we can see that one of the things that Mr. Mike could do is provide guided tours of the city to tourists. Now, that's an option that he has because he's got the bikes. There's already more tourists coming and the government supporting it, so it seems to be the right idea. What it will also do is that it will help him to achieve his objective of diversifying his customer base, right? He was previously only catering to the cycle enthusiasts or maybe the daily riders, but now he can add tourists to his customer base as well. He can also maybe target your daily business visitors, people who are coming in for a few hours. They're probably staying downtown, and the places they need to go to are also downtown. So maybe guiding them towards their destination could be another way of making more money. While all of this is happening, one thing that he will have to also look at is how to find these guides that will take these tourists and business visitors around the city. So hiring more guides will also be part of his plan. Of course, that's not exactly part of marketing, but it's a requirement of marketing that the HR department will be executing for Mike's company. So very clearly, we can see these are plans, or this strategy rather is something that he can try for a foreseeable future, while all of these benefits will filter through for him. Remember that just having a strategy or just having an idea of what you're about to do is never enough. Like everything in life, you have to follow it up with actions, with things that you can actually execute. And that is step 4 of our marketing plan, the marketing tactics. So let's look at that. Now, whatever your objective, your budget, your research, or your strategy might have told you, the only way that you can speak to the customers is through your marketing tactics, which is your 4 Ps. And that is what you need to finalize before actually executing your plan. So you remember that your tactics is nothing but your 4 Ps. So product, price, place, promotion. These are all the things that will need to be discussed at this stage. So if I'm Mike, and if I want to launch a service where I'm giving guided tours of the city to tourists as well as business visitors, I will need, first of all, to change my product. And my product will need to include guides, and of course guides who know where the famous places are, where perhaps the trails are, where the business hubs are, because those are the people you're targeting, the tourists and the business people. So you need to know where they're going, and then you need to include their needs and wants in the product that you're offering. In terms of pricing, since we saw in the marketing stage that there is no other business that is offering guided city tours, that means Mr. Mike will end up having a USP. And when you have a USP, you can take the option of price skimming. You remember price skimming is where you charge a price that's higher than market average. And because you're the only provider, you can expect people to only come to you. And this is a chance for you to make money this way. In terms of promotion, of course, since you're targeting tourists and business visitors, you will need to be in places where they're at. So places such as train stations, maybe, or of course, social media. People want to look at the city and find out about it through social media before actually visiting. So being there, being in that space will also make you visible to them. Your own website, hotels, malls, all of these places where you will expect your target market to be at. And of course, place. Where do you make yourself available to be bought as a product? Well, you can set up stalls at the train station. You can have a pre-booking option on your website, because tourists, myself, I would search for things to do in a city before going there. Maybe if they have an option of booking it beforehand, I would do so right there and then. So giving that option will also add to the distribution channels that you have, perhaps kiosks at a city center area. Right now, remember that the beauty about 4 Ps is that whatever you learn in market research, it's really up to you to come up with this integrated marketing mix. So you could have come up with different suggestions here than mine, and that will be completely fine as long as it is backed up by market research and the strategy that you're coming up with. Your tactics should be supporting the long-term strategy. So by this stage, 1, 2, 3, and 4 done, we will know exactly what we're about to do, how we're going to do it, and what are we exactly executing in terms of our strategy. But remember, there is the 5th stage, which is evaluating, making sure that you have done everything and you have got all the resources in place before actually going with the launch of this product. So let's look at that. So ultimately, all marketing departments will have to make sure that the plan is foolproof. It has considered all possibilities. And once you've considered all possibilities and answered for each of them, only then would you have the confidence to go and launch your product. So at the fifth stage, you evaluate, try to gain some control, and you manage the marketing campaign that you're going to launch. So given our plan going forward, which is to launch a service which provides city tour to, of course, visitors, we will need to find some certified guides to provide these tours. Of course, nobody can just be hired without any background checks, without any expertise. So you will have to go out, and of course, this is where the HR department will take a starring role and look for the right people for the job. You will also have to account for the extra bicycle repair costs, for the extra usage of the bikes that will come. Of course, every day when tourists are visiting, and you know, I don't want to sound negative, but when it's not your own, you maybe not take such good care of the product. So there will be wear and tear when there's different people riding the bike. So you have to consider that and maybe add that to the budget of this product as well. You will also need to store all those extra bikes somewhere, so the storage costs, the rent, that will also be included in your cost. And remember that just because you've been successful in the past does not mean you're going to be successful in the future. This is a completely different ball game. Earlier, you were only selling and repairing bikes. Now you're actually taking the responsibility of people and taking them around the city for a city tour. But given all of these considerations, sounds to me like Mr. Mike has got it figured out. If he's got the bikes, if he's seeing that the little visitors are coming, and if he can get these right guides into the business, then he's all set to launch his new product of guided bicycle tours. And that's how all businesses will go about their marketing plan through these 5 stages and have it ready for launch by the end of it. I hope this makes a little more sense now. And in the next video, we're going to actually look at a real case study, a business situation, and make this entire marketing plan for them again.